Hello Vault Heads, this is the self-proclaimed, sarcastically named Captain KeyForge, also known as PJ Broughton of the Steel City Snufflegators. And here we are today with episode 4 of Captain's Commpod. Today we are going to look at the Captain's worst Dark Tidings card for each house. So we're looking at new cards only. So new cards that have been introduced to set 5 of KeyForge, which is Dark Tidings, and it is, in my opinion, the least impactful or potentially outright worst card for each house. Now, obviously, as well, we are into firm spoiler territory, so if you don't want to see spoilers, turn off now. I'm going to start with logos. Okay, so we are looking at Isotropic Core. It's an artifact. It has 1 amber pip. Each friendly creature gains hazardous 1. I'll say this, it's at least permanent, so it's not an action. You don't have to exhaust the card to make it work. The moment it comes down, every single one of your friendly creatures gains hazardous 1. However, really, how much use is hazardous 1? I mean, I'll say this, it's not a stinker. I'm not going to see that in my deck and go, that's a horrendous card, I'm not going to play it. I'm never going to use it. I'm going to play it. If it's in the deck, I'm going to put it down, I'm going to game the amber. It is going to make my creatures hazardous 1. It could potentially knock off a ward on a Hapsis maybe, and mean that it has to take some damage on the way in. Something like 1 power skirmish poison creature. It will kill it before it actually does something to me. But the amount of good this is going to do, so each of my creatures, when you fight into them, get deal 1 more point of damage to you. I appreciate it's a point of damage before the fight, I get that, but in an awful lot of cases, it is not going to make a blind bit of difference to the outcome of the fight. This is going to do next to nothing for you other than earn you an amber. I do not see this keeping many creatures alive. I do not see this taking out many of your opponent's creatures when they actually fight into you. It is just not good. I wouldn't call it bad either. It's not horrendous. It's not the worst card you're ever going to see. It's certainly not the worst card on the list, but the logos in this set is great. This is not one of them. So then we're going to come on to Sanctum. This is card number 74. Okay, it is an action card. It is called Avenging Aura. It comes with 1 amber pip, and it says play. Each friendly creature gains Assault X for the rest of this turn, where X is the number of keys your opponent has forged. Okay, so comes down, gives you an amber. Now, again, this is a lot like the one we've just looked at, to be fair, but it's worse. The other one, whenever you fight into me, I get 1 extra damage dealt to you for the entire rest of the game. Passive, sits there. This, it's an action. It's only going to work for 1 turn. What's the maximum assault value you're going to get on your creatures thanks to this? Well, 2. If your opponent's forged 3 keys, they've won the game. So, for 1 turn, you get to add, dependent on where you're at in the game, Assault 0 if your opponent has no keys, Assault 1 if your opponent has 1 key, and Assault 2 if your opponent has 2 keys added to the creatures that you have in play. So if you don't have a Sanctum creature in play, which apart from the Amber Pip, it's useless. Or if you can't play down a Gizelheart Zealot that comes down ready. Again, it is just, I mean, most of the time it's going to be Assault 0 or so, 60% of the time it's Assault 0 or Assault 1. How desperate are you to see a card that gives your creatures Assault 1? I'm not. Again, it's got an Amber Pip. I've seen worse cards across the 5 sets of KeyForge. It's not horrendous again, but sheesh, it's not impactful, it's not exciting, it's vanilla. And again, Sanctum have much better cards in this set than this one, so it's not great. So now we'll go on to Sauri. This is card number 167. It is an action card. It comes with 1 Amber Pip. It is called Wipe Clear. It reads, play, deal 1 damage to each creature, destroy each upgrade. There are not that many 1-power creatures in this set. It's going to be better against some of the other sets. It's going to be better for me against Kota. But again, we've seen plenty of cards in the game that say deal 1 damage to multiple, and let's be honest, in most cases they do nothing. How many creatures is 1 damage going to kill? Very little. Very few creatures, you know. I mean, the Seeker Needles and stuff like that. The Seeker Needle artifacts deal 1 to a creature, and if you kill it, gain 1. At least you've got a bad penny to work with it with, maybe, and stuff like that. The Saurians, they've had a bit of a power downsizing, I feel, in this set. They're still good. I'd be happy to get them, but some of the good cards are not there anymore. You know, Tribute is gone, for instance. There are much better cards than this one. Again, I don't feel it's absolutely horrendous. Are you going to play it when you have it? Well, yeah, you are, because you're going to get an Amber Pip out of it. To me, the most useful thing out of it is destroy an upgrade. Destroy a Calipigian Ideal on an Exalted to Heck Saurian creature could be really quite handy. So the destroying each upgrade is probably a lot more useful than the deal 1 damage to a creature. But again, how often is destroying an upgrade going to make a massive amount of difference in a game? Not very often. It's not horrendous, but it's not great. Now we're going to come on to the Shadows one, which is card number 195. It's an action. It has 2 Amber Pips on it. It is called Early Birds. It is an alpha card. Play, ready each Shadows creature. Okay. I mean, 2 Amber on one hand is good, but equally, in an Infernus meta, it's not brilliant. I mean, I'll say this, at least there should be no Infernus in this set, because there's no Dis in this set. So in sealed events, you shouldn't be running into Infernus unless they get a Legacy Maverick. Same with Mindfire. But if I was playing against Mass Mutation, I'd be worried about things like Mindfire and Infernus hitting that. Also, I mean, it's an alpha card. It's one of the few ones where I'm thinking, well, it probably needs the alpha, otherwise you could use all your creatures and then ready them. Although that might make it a better card, to be fair. So yeah, it's not ideal. Also as well, I was torn between this and another one, and the reason I went for this one is because in the first 4 sets of KeyForge, there are 7 cards that can exhaust an enemy creature. 7. Okay, so if you're playing someone from Kota, AOA, whatever, the chances of them actually exhausting your Shadows creatures, 7 cards out of all the sets, that's really, really low. In this set, there are 20 cards that could result in 1 or more of your Shadow creatures being exhausted. 20 cards in this set compared to 7 against the previous 4. This is going to be a lot better against this set, but it's going to be next to useless against Kota, AOA, Worlds Collide and Mass Mutation, which is why this card got it over the other one I was looking at, because the other one was the other way around. So yeah, again, not horrendous, but borderline useless, because it's not going to make much difference to the game. I'm going to move on to Star Alliance now. We're looking at card number 268, which is an action card. It has 1 Pip of Amber. It says play, choose a house, reveal the top card of your deck. If it belongs to that house, draw that card and repeat this effect. Okay. I'm not as big a fan of draw as a lot of people are. I think it can be useful, but unless you draw cards that are in the house you're in, you can't play them. So if you call House 2 or House 3 that comes alongside the Star Alliance, you're not going to be able to play any of the cards you reveal. This can only really be much good for either trying to draw Star Alliance cards and play them, or if you're fishing for, I've got a split of the cards in the next house and I wonder which is best. There are 6 Star Alliance cards out of 63 in this set that allow you to play a non-Star Alliance card on a Star Alliance turn, which is just under 10%. That's not a high number. I mean, again, don't get me wrong, you get 12 cards. So, should you have a good chance of getting one? Well, possibly. You possibly do have a good chance of getting one until you factor in that of those 10 cards, of those 6 cards, the 10%, 2 are uncommon and 4 of them are rare. So the chance of you having a deck laden with cards that allow you to choose House 2 or 3 rather than Star Alliance with this card and actually play the cards you draw are not very high. So for me, it is just play this, call Star Alliance, I hope you draw a Star Alliance card. Again, not great. Now we're getting on to some stinkers. Now this is Unfathomable. It is a creature, it's the first creature in the list, it's card 309. It is Kaup, the evil twin version. It's a power 7 creature with 0 armor, Aquan. You cannot play more than 1 card of each card type each turn. You, not your opponent, you. Fight Reap, you may discard any number of cards from your hand and then deal 2 damage to an enemy creature for each card discarded in this way. This is awful. Awful. I really struggle to see the circumstance where you're going to want to put this down. This could be the reason why we can all afford a cheap evil twin deck, because an evil twin that's got Kaup in it, you don't want the evil twin, you want the normal one. Even power 7, at least it's not got skirmish, thank goodness, but at power 7, how many creatures are you going to have to fight before you get rid of it? Equally, you may discard any number of cards from your hand and then deal 2 to an enemy creature for each card discarded this way. Your average hand size is 6. Even if you've got a stinker of a hand and you've got one Unfathomable and you want to just discard the rest, it's not even a play, it's a Fight Reap. This thing's got to be down for a turn before you can even trigger it. It's just awful. Like I say, I genuinely can't see why you would want to play it. It is a chain. It might as well just be a chain in your deck. That is how bad that card is. I think it's awful. It is probably the worst card in the set, although the one that we're about to look at might be close. But I think this is probably the worst card of the set, which brings us on to Untamed. And here we have a set of specials. So we have 3 creatures. Number 375, Lava. 1 power, 0 armor, hazardous 6, return a cocoon from your discard pile to your hand. 376, Cocoon. 2 power creature, 6 armor with an amber pip. Play, destroy a friendly lava. If you do not, destroy Cocoon. And then we have 377, Butterfly, power 9, 0 armor, 1 amber pip. Play, destroy a friendly Cocoon. If you do not, destroy Butterfly. Fight Reap, fully heal Butterfly, gain 1 amber. Okay, so, I mean, these strike me as they want to be gigantic creatures, and they're trying to vary the way you get a gigantic creature into play. There's another high power creature in the set that smacks me as kind of like a gigantic creature that they just play. It's not a 2-card gigantic creature. There are no gigantic creatures in this set unless you get them via Legacy. But there's a 12 power creature kicking around that you have to exhaust friendly creatures to get it into play, and Niflkong's 12 power. So it seems to me that they're trying to find a way of getting gigantic creatures that have different ways to play them in. But I just think, how often are you actually going to get these in the right order where you get the Butterfly down? Because to get Cocoon down, you have to have a Lava out, which is a 1 power creature. So 1 power creature with no armor. Yes, it's got hazardous 6, but how easy is it to kill 1 power creatures, even elusives, things like Dust Witch? So the amount of times you're actually going to get to the Butterfly on this card is not very often, and that's why it's in here. and that's why I think it's bad. So that is the list. What did you agree with? What didn't you agree with? And if you've got any comments, if you'd like to discuss them, if you'd like to say the ones you agree with, love to hear it. If you'd like to tell me, no, there's another card that I think you've completely missed, which is much worse, again, I'd love to hear it. I'm on Twitter, I'm available on email, there are also comments. Please feel free to subscribe or follow, feel free to like. Thank you for staying with me to the end of another Captain's Commpod, and may the Forge be with you.